This program was brought to you by Koller Institute of Venture at Tel Aviv University.
I'll first go over the key points that we thought are interesting to discuss, and then we'll talk about the points that we actually did discuss. So the first, there was something that was raised in the day which looked strange to most of us, which is the worry of having too many researchers in one field. The feeling was that in most cases, if you have lots of researchers in one field, it creates an ecosystem in that field, and then you'll have lots of industry, and the problem will be solved. It's true that they will not all have a place in the industry, but if you think about something like cybersecurity, Israel produced lots of people. Most of them indeed don't have a place in the academy, but a place is created in the industry. So we didn't think that this is a real problem. The second point was that we thought that the academia should be reinvented in the sense that a lot of the classes should not be as frontal classes, but as internship, as trying, as working out on problems with real people. We've seen really nice examples from the law department here in Tel Aviv universities with the courses that they make, in which people actually go to the field, solve real problems for real people, and by that learn. And we thought this should be applied to more places in the academia. The third problem that we thought that should be, that was actually mentioned during the day, and we thought it was a really good idea. And the idea was that you'd want to have people from the industry in the academia on a regular basis, helping people both in courses and in the studying and in the research. And this would this is sort of mentorship, but you have to figure out how to put them into the system. And this would help make the research more applied when somebody wants to make the research more applied. So we are not talking about telling people what to do research, we are not telling people how to learn, but lots of people want the research to have economic impact, want to be able to do the next startups, but they don't know how. And what they usually do, and people talked about it, is they find a great solution and then they look for a problem. So if you had people from the industry involved, you could get a better solution for that. Another observation that was made is that it's very common for people here to have a global research, in the sense that on the papers there'll be a few people which are signed on it. You'll have people working on it from Israel, people working on it from the UK, the US, China, wherever. And usually it's researchers, and they've met fairly late in their career, so not in the bachelor degrees. They went to conferences, they know those people, and they started doing research together. And we thought that this could be, it would be nice if we could have more of those things happening in a startup. So in a startup, usually you start it up with somebody that you know, which is somebody that you were in the army and university with, and it's not somebody from outside Israel, and there is power in having somebody from outside Israel. It's not easy to do, but it's getting to be more and more possible, especially with the students moving from, going for a semester from here to there and from there to here. The Technion having a partnership with both in the US and China, and many people going from China to learn in Israel. So we thought that we should strive to, when we do things like hackathons and stuff, we should strive to have people from different countries, Israel and other countries, be on the same team, and hopefully it would lead to more startups being started that way. So those are the 4 points we have not gone further into. The point that was raised in our group that we decided to go into is that in the social sciences, in the arts, most people are not aware of how they could do entrepreneurship at any level. I mean, they don't even have a clue. They don't have the language. They don't think about it. We're not talking about necessarily doing something that ends up in being worth money. But even if you want to start a school, you want to start a non-profit, especially if you want to start a company, they have an idea, but they couldn't guess if the idea is useful to them, that is. And so the main ideas that we discussed was how to get better education in the arts and the social sciences regarding entrepreneurship. Those things actually exist so if I would come to somebody in computer science in the Technion as third-year students, he would sort of know what I'm talking about. If he had an idea, he would have a clue whether he should make a company from that. It will be something that is in the air for him. And it will not be somebody who's dancing and has an idea. It will not necessarily be something that he could think about. So we thought about a number of ways to get it to be more in the air. The first one, which is related to the last point that we have not used, is to bring mentors. We want to bring mentors from the academic into the academic education, people who have been in the field, who've been entrepreneurs. This could be social entrepreneurs, this could be entrepreneurs that started companies, but people would come there and would share their experience. We thought about hands-on experience. For example, when we do hackathons, sometimes we could have hackathons where people are from different fields. We can have hackathons for people from the social fields, for people from studying some technical subjects, and people that are studying commerce. So we could have all three together and have groups which are combined, and everybody will have something to learn from the other, especially as the hackathon will be about solving problems that are related to the social sciences. We talk about interdisciplinary collaboration more, which is both in the university and outside the university. We talked about including it in the education. And we talked about also, this is including education as far the kind of the things that you need to learn as you study social sciences or the arts. It would be also, you'd have courses like, we in the Technion had to study subjects that are from the arts. They should have to study something that has to do about entrepreneurship, as it could be useful to them. But in addition to that, we talked about the fact that it probably as a first step, it will be a good idea to give classes like that, not that you have to take them, but that you could take them, that were targeted toward the teachers, toward the professors in the social arts, and in the social sciences and the arts. Yeah. Okay, so that was the main points that we had, and this was our start. Thank you very much.
This program was brought to you by Koller Institute of Venture at Tel Aviv University.